For today's scientific session, I welcome all the members of KCASI, and especially I invite our scientific committee chairman, Dr. Lakshman, and senior member, Dr. Kalaivani, and today's moderator, Dr. B. Srinivas Pai, and Professor and HOD of Department of General Surgery, SDM Medical College and Hospital, Dharwad. And also I welcome today's presenter, Dr. Ramya Bhatt from Dharwad, that is SDM College. And I welcome all the staff, members and postgraduates who are present today. And a small announcement. See, for KCASI, those who have not registered, any problem with the registration, please contact Anand. He is our Keystone manager. See, few people have a problem with the registration because they have logged in when it was offline, and when they opened the payment gate, it was showing 5,800 or 5,000. So people have stopped registering. Then they wanted to register from a different time for a 600 rupees. It was showing that you are already registered. So people have not registered and they have inquired. Now I have told Anand to rectify that. If you have any problem, you call Anand, Keystone people, and they will rectify and they'll make you to pay 500 only for postgraduates and for 600 for consultants. So this is small.
Send the link again, Dr. Chandra. That will be better.
But sir, madam, a problem is with a fresh link you can do it. The problem, those who have registered and have not paid the amount, because they wanted to clarify the this one amount, they have not paid. For those people, they can't go again. So that can be rectified if they call directly. Like that, there are 5 to 6 members. They called me and I rectified them also. I gave
Anand contact number ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ sir.
Anand number contact number ಕೊಡಿ.
Anand number ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ okay ಚಂದ್ರ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲ, people know if they go to website also they can get a Keystone's number. So now I'll request Lakshman sir to start. Our chairman will accompany in a short while. So I'll request Lakshman sir to
thank you, Chandru. Srinivas, I think we can go straight ahead with the program. Thank you. Srinivas, please.
Yeah, good evening to all of the members, colleagues, postgraduates who are listening in, who have logged in and are listening in. So today, the responsibility of the Journal Club was given to our institution, that is SDM College of Medical Science and Hospital. We're at Dharwad and we are at the SDM University also. We're a constituent of the SDM University. And we chose this article because it's something which is commonly done. Something which is, we didn't want some exotic research. We wanted to critique a article from a journal which is commonly done and which postgraduates also understand. So can Ramya take over from here?
Yes, sir.
So it's on the surgery, the anterior resection. C-rectum is quite common in our part of the world, more commoner than what is thought. And detection has made it possible for us to diagnose early. And anti-resection is a possibility because of the availability of chemotherapy and radiation. So this is something we are doing every other day. So that's why I chose this article. So with no further delay, I will hand over to Ramya and she will present the article.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Ramya, a postgraduate student at SDM Medical College and Hospital. My moderator is Dr. B. Srinivas Pai, Professor and Head of Department of General Surgery at SDM Medical College. So I would like to present the journal. The article of interest and today's discussion is high ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery induces hypoperfusion of the sigmoid colon stump during anterior resection. So this was an original article from Frontiers in Surgery with an impact factor of 2.718. The authors were Dr. Jun Higashijimaba and et al. From Tokushima University Hospital in Japan. It was published in December 2021. So to brush up with the anatomy, the right-sided colon is supplied by the branches from the superior mesenteric artery, that is the iliocolic artery, right colic artery, and the middle colic artery and middle colic artery branches. The left-sided colon is supplied by the middle colic artery left-sided branch. The branches from the inferior mesenteric artery, that is the left colic artery, branches from the sigmoid branches, and the superior rectal artery. The rectum per se, the upper part is supplied by the superior rectal artery, which is the continuation of the inferior mesenteric artery. The middle part by the middle rectal artery, which is a branch from the internal iliac artery, and the lower part by the lower inferior rectal artery, which is a branch from the internal pudendal artery, which is a branch of the which is a branch of the internal iliac artery. So what is the usual practice? In patients with neoplastic lesions, where do we ligate? Ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery is done at the origin most commonly. And why is it so? Because there is an increased lymph node harvest done, which has got a better oncological outcome. Moreover, the tension, it is known to be tension free, and so the anastomotic leakage is supposed to be lesser, whereas a low ligation is also accepted, and this is known to have lesser nerve related injuries. However, there is no evidence to date which has determined that which is the optimal level of the ligation. So anastomotic leakage is higher after rectal resection than after the right-sided colon resection. Numerous patient-related and surgeon-related risk factors are there. Insufficient blood supply at the proximal and or the distal anastomotic ends cause the anastomotic leakage. In this study, real-time indocyanine green fluorescence angiography was useful to evaluate the intestinal perfusion at the site of the anastomosis. So the aim of the study was to analyze the experience using the intraoperative ICGFA to evaluate the vascular perfusion of the bowel stumps, the proximal and the distal one, for the anastomosis.
I want you to slow down that bit, okay? Just
yes, sir.
Slowly, a little more slowly.
Yes. During ileocecal resection with high or low ligation of the iliocolic artery, and the anterior rectal resection with high or low ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery. So the methods used, it was a retrospective study done at Tokushima University Hospital in Japan between January 2016 and December 2020. Total of 34 patients with cecal or ascending colon cancer underwent ileocecal resection, and 41 patients with rectosigmoid colon or rectal cancer underwent anterior resection without diverting ileostomy. The exclusion criteria in this study was the patients with history of a major gastrointestinal surgery, patients having adverse reaction to ICG and or iodine, pregnancy and or lactation, patients more than or equal to 80 years of age were excluded, patients who who took neoadjuvant chemotherapy were excluded, who took radiation therapy were excluded, and clinical stage 4 cancer were excluded from the study. So the definitions used in this study were: high ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery was considered when the ligation was done above the left colic artery. High ligation of the iliocolic artery was considered in a situation in which the iliocolic artery traveled anterior and superior to the superior mesenteric vein in ileocecal resection. The anastomotic leakage, how was it defined? Passage of fecal material from the drain or formation of a pelvic abscess or peritonitis confirmed by the clinical findings and abdominal computed tomography. So what was done here was the ICG was injected intravenously, and ICG is known to emit light with a peak wavelength of 800 to 850 nanometer. The ICG was visualized in the blood vessels after excitation with near infrared light using hyper-eye medical system, which is shown here. The fluorescence time, well, how is it defined? It is the time time from ICG injection and flushing of the injection route to the time of the strongest signal in the stump, which was visualized using this system. And this was measured during the study. The statistical analysis was done with the help of GraphPad Prism software version 6.0 and SAS Studio Release 3.6 software. The data was mentioned in terms of mean with its standard deviation to either sides. So categorical outcomes were compared among the multiple groups using Fisher's exact test. So the Fisher's exact test is to measure the categorical outcomes in outcomes where there can be a value of 0 also. So Fisher's exact test was used in this. The level of statistical significance was considered to be when the P was less than 0.05. So these were the variables. 15%.
Srinivas, excuse me, Srinivas, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm unmuted. Yes.
Yeah, before we go to the results, could
Yes.
we ask for comments and critique of the article up to this stage, please, from the audience? It's important for us
Yes.
to look at, certain things were done. Were they correct? Was it good? What were the good points about this and what were the not so good points about it? So perhaps the audience could
Ramya, can
give
you go
comments.
to some slides backwards
Yes, sir.
before you start the statistics? Yeah, somewhere here. Yeah, we should. This is a starting point. No, next one.
May I, sir?
Yes.
Just go to the previous slide, Ramya.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You go to the title slide only. Now, this title, it says high ligation of inferior mesenteric artery induces hypoperfusion of the sigmoid colon stump during anterior resection. What is your comment on this title? Because you've read the entire article, you know the results also.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
please comment on the title.
Actually, the study compares even the ileocecal resection and also the anterior resection. So they have not mentioned anything about the ileocecal resection in the title. And so it is one-sided already.
Okay. Then what else? I have also read, so I know the results. So how should a title be? As far as what you have read and what you know about biomedical research.
Ma'am, it should catch the whole article, and
Exactly.
it should contain a summary of the complete thing.
Yeah, probably it should give the result also. Like we should, as you said, in a very subtle way, it's catch the whole article. So as per this title, so what is your comment? It is only that they have not commented about the ileocecal or anything else?
They have only mentioned about hypoperfusion, and there is no mention about anastomotic leak, which is a very
Okay.
important.
So let this be the beginning of the discussion. At the end of the article, we'll again come back to this title,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Because let's finish the results and discussions.
Yes,
Then the next
What are
one.
the major gastrointestinal surgeries were excluded, Ramya?
Ma'am, sir, the ones included were anterior resection, high and low anterior resection, and also ileocecal resection. Nothing else was included.
Sir is asking
Yeah,
about
Ramya, if I may.
exclusion criteria. In exclusion criteria, you mentioned major gastrointestinal surgeries were excluded. That's what sir is asking.
Yes, sir. That was not mentioned, ma'am, in this article.
Srinivas, if I may I come in here?
Please.
Yeah. Ramya, at this point, it's right as Dr. Kalaivani did to start with the title and the comments have been made there. But then you have to ask yourself in your critique, is it a reasonable research question? What is the research question in your mind here in this paper?
It is not at all speaking about the oncological outcome. It is just
No,
a short.
what is the
outcome.
research? They're not looking at oncological outcomes. So what was the research question in this article?
Hypoperfusion and anastomotic leak.
The effect of high versus low ligation on the perfusion of the bowel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is and is that in your mind a reasonable research question? Is it worthwhile studying?
Uh,
That is the way you critique an article. Is it a worthwhile question that we need to spend time on? Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yes. Why do you say so?
Because
You have actually answered this in your introduction, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew it.
yes, sir. Because if we can decrease the complications with this
No, the
approach,
controversy, there is still, after, I've been reading, looking at these research questions, this very research question for the last 35 years, since the time I started training. So the final answer to this is still not available. You have mentioned it yourself. It is controversial whether you should do a high tie or a low tie. Okay, it is still controversial. So it is a reasonable research question.
yes,
Second, it is something that you would want to spend time on. But then it leads you to the next question. There are many studies available. Is the study design suitable or appropriate for the research question? That's the next question you critique.
no, sir. That's a limitation in this study.
So what are
retrospective
the limitations in this study? That is a critique that you must give. It's a good subject. It's a reasonable, it's a reasonable index journal, which is peer reviewed. So that is okay. So what are the limitations in this study design vis-a-vis the research question?
It is a retrospective study. This itself is a
Yes.
limitation.
Yes.
So, and the sample size was lesser.
Yes.
So, so we cannot apply it for the whole population.
All right. Can some other postgraduate come up with more issues on this?
Sir, can I come in, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, can I start with a favorable point?
Yeah,
sir?
yeah,
Like,
sure.
as
Up to this point, start with the favorables. Don't repeat
yeah,
what
yes,
has
sir.
been said.
Start with the yes, sir. So first, it's a recent study, sir, December 2021,
Yes.
and based like other things you mentioned. Other than that, it is for following that informed consent of the patient and health and skill declaration.
Ethical points have been addressed. Very good.
Addressed.
Yes, go on.
Yes, sir. And one more thing I wanted to add is like, so the definitions were good before they
Yes.
mentioned about the high ligation. The definition, they clearly mentioned it.
Yes.
And regarding, against for this study,
Mhm.
so it is a retrospective study which is mentioned. And
Right.
as usual, even in the retrospective study, the quality of life can be added.
Okay.
For the patient, that
All
can be
right.
added. And one more thing I felt, I don't know whether it is correct, sir. They studied about the outcomes of the search, but any other outcomes can be added, like not only about the leak alone. So can that be added in retrospective study? I don't know.
Not required. If you make it very wide, everything becomes very diffuse, very vague. I think they had a good question, but my point is not only were the numbers small in this group, there was another characteristic which was negative in this group, in this cohort, in this group of patients. What was that?
All belonging to us to the same region.
No, very heterogeneous group. Why do I call it heterogeneous? When you have a heterogeneous group, the outcomes results that you get cannot be completely relied upon. What is the heterogeneity in this group? Any postgraduate? Nishant, you want to have
two
a go?
different carcinomas, two different areas.
One is two different regions. It is well known that the right side colon is better perfused on the left side colon. So you don't put them in the same group or in the
Yes.
same study. Okay, that is one. What else? Nishant, you want to have a go?
The techniques, sir, both techniques.
The number of surgeons involved, techniques.
Number of surgeons involved has never been mentioned, and they have included some as laparoscopic surgery,
Robot.
some as robotic surgery, and each, one group had 9 patients. It's such a heterogeneous group. Total numbers themselves are small, and they have made it even more small by having several groups. And so the outcomes for each group can be very different, and that leads to a bias. You cannot have a generalization there.
So no standardization.
Yeah, there must be a homogeneous group. I'll study laparoscopic left colonic resection. robotic left colonic resection, something like that. Srinivas, you have anything to add?
Yeah, for those who for PGs who are listening it, see, the standard of practice is always been a high ligation or anterior resection. Why? But what is the Achilles heel? Theoretical Achilles heel, because normally it doesn't occur, causing us to use a diversion ileostomy, which I have stopped doing for a number of years now, is to divert the anterior section. Earlier they used to put a divert. Their thinking was it will leak. Why? Because we are ligating the inferior mesenteric artery higher up. They were assuming that the inferior mesenteric artery was the only blood supply of the stump. And because it's so high, the anastomos was also under tension. So the leakages were there. The surgeons refused to believe that it was their technique actually, which was causing the leakage. So some of them said, okay, let us do away with the high ligation. Let us go for a lower ligation. But they questioned, why are you doing high ligation? It is for removing the adequate lymph nodes. See, if the lymph nodes are adequate, more than 20, then the staging is accurate. If they are less than 20, the staging won't occur. So low ligation not supposed to get that 20. So there's a chance of getting a wrong stage, and then it leads to over-treatment. Accidentally, may over-treat. If patient might not have needed chemo, but because your lymph node yield is less, patient gets chemotherapy because you have understaged the disease. I hope people understand this. Okay. So this guy is trying to get 3 studies in one, and that's the confusion. He has got 3 studies in one. At one stance, he's trying to compare low ligation and high ligation, and also he's bringing in that another area of the large bowel. He's trying to compare with the left side and right side. Although they are one organ called as colon, they are separate organ actually, but technically. Their anatomy is slightly different. Their blood supply is more better on the right side, and right side, the physiology is different if you really go into the depth. So that right side and left side comparison should not be there. Left side leaks more than right side anyway. That's because of the reasons, anatomical reasons, because there are more critical points in anatomy on the left side. If you put a diagram, can you put a slide of the your anatomy slide, Ramya?
Yes.
There are some critical points there. Sudek's critical point, and one more Griffin's, or some of the quiz masters will tell, starts with G, little higher up. So they are called critical points because if you devascularize those areas, they will leak. Okay. So these are some of the things which, and plus what Dr. Lakshman pointed out, laparoscopy versus open surgery. Obviously, in laparoscopy, because of the technical shortcomings, we may end up doing a low ligation more than high ligation.
This was all laparoscopic, but they had compared laparoscopic versus robotic.
Robotic.
Which
Yeah,
can again be different.
robotic may reach those areas which laparoscopy might not reach, because of the dexterity is more better with a robot.
Nuli sir, you have any comments?
I just wanted to ask Ramya sir, looking at this anatomical picture, where exactly is meant by high ligation, low ligation?
Sir, yes, sir. High ligation was before the left colic artery was given. The branch was given here, sir, here.
Okay.
And low ligation was here, sir.
Before giving branches of
After, what? Left colic artery, sir.
So
low is after the left colic is given, which
yes,
means
sir,
it takes the sigmoid arteries.
Yes,
high is before the left colic artery is given.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
So surgically, which is easy, madam? Ramya?
Sir, high ligation.
Why?
Because I do not know, sir.
Go on, Hari. Hari, do you agree with Ramya that high ligation is easier than low ligation?
No, sir, because I think from distal it will be easy for low ligation, sir. I'm not sure.
Yeah. See, distal ligation is much easier to identify the root of the IMA where it comes off the aorta is technically more demanding. That's one of the other reasons why people choose low ligation. All right. Guru Shantappa sir, any comments?
Like you had asked critic at this point of time,
Yes,
till
sir.
whatever she has presented.
Yes, sir.
Since the article is on oncological procedure, like you mentioned, keeping many objectives in any study will dilute the outcomes. But since it is an oncological procedure, I would have expected one more in the form of the lymph node yield between the two procedures, because it's an oncological procedure.
Yeah.
So other than the perfusion and the chances of leak, if it have added the lymph node yield in both the situations, high and low tide, probably it would have added more information with the outcomes.
Yeah, very true. Ramya, come down a few slides to the exclusion criteria. Yeah, now you have to critically think about whether these exclusions were correct or not. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Why would a history of major GI surgery be an exclusion criterion?
There might be a vascular compromise from before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Previous ligations and adhesions and fibrosis and things like that. Very good. The second one is self-explanatory. Pregnancy or lactation, you would not want to give ICG. Age 80 years, why would you think of that?
There can be atherosclerosis with higher age.
Yeah, because
that
of
can
the
influence.
underlying, vascular compromise, a detailed study using an ICG may or may not be required. So that is a reasonable thing. What about neoadjuvant therapy?
There can be vascular, the chemotherapy related changes in the vessel wall and radiation related changes in the vessel wall,
Is it
fibrosis,
which between the two, which causes more compromise of the vessel wall?
radiations.
Radiation. Neoadjuvant does not really cause any major issue like radiation does, unless what can neoadjuvant chemotherapy do that can cause compromise of the blood vessel? It also, that factor is
Thinning
also
of
in
the blood vessels.
in play with the cancer itself.
Neovascular.
Neovascular.
Yeah, it can lead to a hypercoagulable state. So you may end up having
Yes.
clogged vessels with your treatment. Okay.
Yes.
And stage 4, of course, you're not bothered about. You're doing a palliative resection, so you're not doing a big resection. So apart from a slightly questionable neoadjuvant chemotherapy, all other factors are good exclusion criteria. Okay, so this is the way you must analyze a paper. Next ones, go down again. Yeah, definitions we said were good. You mentioned about the technique of ICG. Okay, now when it comes to this, okay, one of the questions that you ask yourself is, are you in your unit or any reasonable unit equipped to doing this procedure, whatever it is? Okay, so ICG is not universally available. It can also be expensive relatively. And so that is one of the points that you have to have in mind when you're critiquing this paper. Okay. Okay, don't jumping. This is a very important thing. Go back one slide. Go back one slide. Yeah. I always feel that that a journal club should always lead you to learn something new in statistics. Okay.
Yes.
So you can't skip through statistics. Hari, do you want to make any comments about the statistics here?
No, sir, the softwares, I don't know about it, but that Fisher exactness, I can tell them, sir, they can make for no two categorical variables. So
Yeah.
I think
That is reasonable. There was one test that they mentioned, which Ramya has not mentioned. If you have read the paper.
Tukey's test.
Okay. Okay. So did you know what it was?
No, sir.
Did you try to find out what it is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is a multiple comparison test.
Correct?
It is used to determine which
Correct. But is
set
that
of-
the usual one?
No, it is not a usual one. So
What is the usual one that people will generally know?
ANOVA, sir.
ANOVA. Okay, that is something you have to highlight here. I didn't know what it was myself until I read this paper for a critiquing. So I went back to the net and learned what it was, and it is now known that ANOVA is a much more commonly used test than the UKIS that they talk about. Okay,
Yes.
so, but it's not a huge thing. It can also be used, but please, that's a little point of statistics that we learn, that ANOVA is a much more common test.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so any other comments, sir, up to this point?
What about the aims, sir? Aims and objectives.
Aims, they had mentioned, that was a research question that we talked about.
No, the objectives,
Yeah.
Ramya, show that. Is it a descriptive study or analytical study?
It is a descriptive study, ma'am, and with analysis.
Yeah, then it is an analytical study.
It's an
Analytical study.
Okay, it's an analytical study.
Okay. So
Okay.
whenever we call it an analytical study, the term what we use, in AIM, we
Yes,
call it the estimate. Okay, that's very important. What word we use in AIM, that also qualifies your aims and objectives of your study.
Yes.
For descriptive, it's a different verb is used, and for analytical study, you use a different.
Yes.
Okay, go on. There is something about the bowel stumps, but we will talk about it when you come to that. Go on. Any other comments about methods and statistics, please? No. Please
I
go
have a
ahead.
comment.
Yeah, please.
For statistics work perfectly. For statistics to work and be relevant, it should be cannot be, usually it fails in retrospective study, most of the stats, because the selection itself will be affected in the beginning itself. So those stats of retrospective studies are usually pinch of salt statistics to be believed in.
Yeah.
Those who are prospective, if they're honestly done, then the stats works.
Yeah.
About the
See,
statistics.
statistics will only look at the validity of the data. So one can't say statistics doesn't work, but the validity of the data that is put into the statistical test itself is compromised when it is a retrospective study.
So all retrospects are selection bias studies.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Inevitably, there are selection because
Yeah.
of that. But nowadays, because of COVID, a lot of journals are accepting retrospective studies.
Correct.
A lot of journals with high impact factors, annals of surgery, because there's nothing going on research because of the COVID situation, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is the time to publish in those journals, because India got a lot of data of a lot of retrospective studies we have.
Yeah.
So we have to pool and now start publishing that.
Yeah.
And some of the articles which we came across, the amount of studies which we are doing, our amount of cases we are doing are about tenfold of those articles which are accepted there.
I've always been saying this. We do a lot of work.
Yeah.
We just need to collect the data properly, analyze them, and put it in writing. There is no two ways about it. The whole purpose of this journal club and this kind of discussion is to stimulate all of us ourselves and re-stimulate all of us to publish our work. Please go on,
I'm going
Raman.
to remind this at the end again, because I have something to say in the end, not right now. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Go on.
So these are the demographic details and clinical characteristics of the patients with lower right-sided colon cancer and the rectosigmoid colon cancer in this study. So 15 patients, that was 44% of the patients with the lower right-sided colon cancer were males, and 51% of the patients were in retrosigmoid colon cancer were males. So this was it was matchable, like both the in both the groups, the number of males were almost similar. There was not no statistic difference. The age was 69 for the lower right-sided ones. For the rectosigmoid, 67 was the mean. And this was also similar in both the studies. The location, 35% of the lower right-sided colon cancer was in cecum, and 64%, that is 22 patients, had ascending colon cancer, whereas rectosigmoid colon cancer was there in 58.5% of the patients in that group, and rectum cancer was there in 41.5% of the patients.
Ramya, you mentioned about the matching of the groups. This is a very small number of patients, so this doesn't apply. And Srinivas also mentioned about, very correctly, a selection bias in retrospective studies. We have discussed this in previous journal clubs. Is there a method where you can minimize this selection bias? Is there a statistical tool that you can use to minimize this bias?
Randomization.
No, that is prospective. I'm talking about minimizing bias even in a retrospective study. We have discussed this in previous journal clubs in this forum. Hari?
Propensity score matching. Sir.
Correct. There is a tool called propensity score matching. I would like you to remember this, because if you're planning a study, a retrospective study, your study is going to be accepted. The chances of its acceptance are higher if you apply the propensity score matching for your cohort. Okay, just remember that. Go on with this. Yeah.
So 55.9% of the patients underwent high ligation of ileocholic artery, and many of them, 75.6% of the patients, underwent high ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery. The approach, all the patients with lower right-sided colon cancer were treated laparoscopically, and towards the rectosigmoid side, 65% of the patients were treated laparoscopically, and 34.1% of the patients were treated with robotic approach. And this difference is significant with a p-value of less than 0.05.
Come back, Ramya.
Yes.
Right back.
Here.
So why do you think that right side was laparoscopically done more, 0 robotic, and left side had significant 14 out of the 41? Why do you think that difference?
It was easier to do it. Easier to do with laparoscopy.
Which one?
Right side, sir. Right side.
Okay. Left side?
Left side, so, as you said, the dexterity is better with the robotic approach.
Okay. Yeah.
You would find, Ramya, that most of these robotics would be low anterior sections.
Yes.
Where particularly in a narrow male pelvis, robotic surgery is definitely easier to perform than laparoscopic surgery.
Yes, sir.
Go
on. The type of resection, all of them on the right side underwent ileocecal resection. On the left side, 39% of the patients underwent high anterior resection, and 61% of the patients underwent low anterior resection. The type of anastomosis, 82% of the patients on the right side underwent stapled anastomosis, and 17.6% underwent hand-sewn anastomosis. On the left side, most of them underwent stapled anastomosis. The anastomotic leakage seen was that on the right side, patients did not have any anastomotic leakage, whereas on the left side, 3 of them had anastomotic leakage that accounted up to 7.7%. A follow-up for 30-day mortality was done, and none of them expired. Yes.
Hello, Ramya.
Yes, sir.
This hand-sewn anastomosis you are talking about, was it in robotic or laparoscopic? Anything is mentioned? You have mentioned here six patients, no, hand-sewn anastomosis.
Yes, sir. Which of them were robotic and which of them were actually, all of them were laparoscopic, sir, on the right side.
All these hand-sewn anastomosis or 6, all of them are on right side, that too by laparoscopic. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And this anastomotic leakage of 3 patients, you had anastomotic leakage of
Yes,
which
sir.
patients? Was it on left side or right side?
On
left
on
side.
the left side.
So most of them were done by robotic only. Okay.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Sir, robotic only 34%. We do not know if it was robotic or laparoscopic.
Okay.
Okay, Ramya. Go to the next slide. Yeah.
So this is a slide showing blood flow of the bowel stumps during ileocecal resection or anterior resection. So the fluorescence time of the ileal and ascending colon stumps during ileocecal resection was the same, almost the same, 33.5 plus or minus 8 seconds with the ileum, and 33.7 plus or minus 8.2 seconds here, which was not statistically significant. The fluorescence time of the sigmoid colon and rectal stumps during anterior resection was also not, there was not much of a difference between the two. That is, it was 41.8 plus or minus 9 seconds on this side and 45.8 plus or minus 9 seconds on the rectal side. So the fluorescence time during anterior section of both the sigmoid colon and rectal stumps were significantly longer than the fluorescence time during ileocecal resection. They have compared the whole group, the ileocecal resection and the anterior resection. The difference, there was a significant difference between these two whole groups.
Is there any significance for this? Would you, what is it that you're trying to, or the authors are trying to say by comparing the right and the left side? We know for ages that the vascularity of the right side is different and better compared to that of the left side.
No known fact, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that is just one statistic that has been raised, but it really, and does it have a relation or significance to the research question, comparing the right and left?
Yes, sir. Anastomotic leakage can be higher on the left side.
No, but you know, but what I'm saying, compared to the research question is
no, sir.
Between high and low ligation. So why are you comparing the right and left? It doesn't figure in your research question at all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, yes. Go on.
So this is a figure showing effect of the level of ligation of the main artery on the blood flow of the bowel stumps during surgery. The first one here, A, it shows the effect of the level of ligation of the ileocolic artery during ileocecal resection. So the high ligation of the ileocolic artery did not affect the fluorescence time of the ileal or the ascending colon stumps. There was no statistical significance here. Whereas in this B figure, it shows the effect of the level of ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery during anterior resection. High ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery significantly prolonged the fluorescence time of the sigmoid colon. The sigmoid colon fluorescence time, as we can see here, is significantly prolonged. And this was statistically significant with the p-value of 0.004.
Go on.
So this is another image showing association between, it's a graph showing association between anastomotic leakage in the anterior rectal resection and the surgery type. The 16 patients underwent high anterior resection and none of them had any anastomotic leakage, and 22 patients underwent low anterior resection and 3 of them low anterior, 25 patients underwent and 3 of them had anastomotic leakage. And all of them were high ligation, as we can see in this image. So this is another box and whisker plot showing blood flow and anastomotic leakage in ileocecal resection versus anterior resection. So they have compared the whole groups. This A image shows comparison of the fluorescence time between the ascending colon and the sigmoid colon with preservation of the left colic artery. The fluorescence time of the sigmoid colon with the low ligation of the inferior mesenteric artery was seen to be was similar to the fluorescence time of the ascending colon with high ligation or low ligation. And this B image shows the association between the anastomotic leakage and the surgery type. They have told that low anterior section has got an anastomotic leakage of 3 out of 25 patients.
Okay, just pause for a minute and highlight the results that you want to say from these things that you have said. Give 3 or 4 salient points from the results.
Yes, sir. So what they have concluded is that there was no difference between high ligation or low ligation.
I'll stop you there. Because in a critique, you don't go by what they conclude.
Yes,
sometimes they conclude things which may not be reflected in the results. So as a person critiquing the article, you have to give your view about the kind of comparisons that they have made. That was the point I'm making. Comparing the right and left sides in a totality doesn't make doesn't contribute any information. Like that, you must, from these results that you have seen, what are the salient points that you have to make is the question. Go on.
Yes, sir. First of all, the first box and whisker plot that showed the arterial supply, which was a known fact that right-sided is well perfused than the left side. Second point was that they compared 2 different vascular supplies. That is the right-sided ileocecal resection.
That is the same point. That's the same
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Go on, next one.
So, and they compared the high ligation on the right side as well as with the low ligation.
For a
on the
moment,
right
let
side.
us stop talking about the right side. We have said that comparing right and left is not contributory. Second, there is no change in the right side. If you saw the report results,
Yes, sir.
there was no change in the right side. There was something in the left side. What was that change and was it significant? Is the issue. Clinically significant. For a surgeon, that is all the question that we're looking at. Okay?
Yes.
Go on.
It showed that with the high ligation on the left side, the fluorescence time significantly increased.
All right.
And there was there was hypoperfusion with high ligation on the left side.
All right.
And with the high, all of them, all the patients who had anastomotic leakage had high ligation associated.
Yeah. Was it statistically significant with the numbers that you had?
No, sir, that was not statistically
That is
significant.
extremely important. So it ends up being an anecdotal kind of experience, okay, with only 3 cases. So if you look at the total number of leaks versus non-leaks in the 2 groups, that is a high and low ligation, it was not significant statistically.
Yes.
That was the important point I wanted you to stress.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just because the 3 leaks that they had was in high ligation, you cannot conclude with this data, with this set of data, that high ligation leads to leaks.
Yes.
You got that?
Yes, sir.
That's important. Sir, Guru Shantappa sir, any other comments?
Nothing, sir. I think it is better to have a discussion on the left side than on the right side, which you have highlighted.
Yeah.
And since p-value is not significant between the 2 groups, high and low, properly.
Okay. Srinivas, you want to add anything?
No, nothing, sir.
Yeah.
It doesn't conclude about the leak rate based on this.
Okay. So please go on. Go on with the discussion.
Yes, sir. So high ligation of inferior mesenteric artery caused significant hypoperfusion at the sigmoid colon stump during anterior section compared with low ligation in this study. The literature says that anterior resection, the anastomotic leak rate after laparoscopic ileocecal resection and right-sided hemicolectomy is about 1 to 2.6%. And that with the laparoscopic anterior section without defunctioning stoma is about 6 to 10%. Why is the blood supply not adequate, and why is anastomotic leak more with the low anterior resection? This distal rectum is supplied by both the middle rectal and the lower rectal artery, and with high anterior resection, it is protected. Whereas with low anterior resection, the only supply which remains is the inferior rectal artery. Moreover, the dorsocaudal rectal ampulla contains a vessel deficient area. So this is also a very important point. So the conclusion of the article was that the intraoperative ICGFA revealed that high inferior mesenteric artery ligation could induce hypoperfusion of the sigmoid colon stump during anterior section. And they concluded that future studies are required to confirm the effects of high versus low ligation of the ileocholic artery and inferior mesenteric artery, respectively, on anastomotic leakage following ileocecal resection and anterior resection.
Okay, would you agree with these conclusions?
I would like to agree with the second conclusion that the future studies are required.
Okay, why would you disagree with the first one then?
It was not statistically significant and only.
No, that was statistically significant. You know, high ligation did reduce the blood supply to the sigmoid. That was significant.
Yes, sir. It did induce hypoperfusion, but
Your objection to that conclusion, I mean, it's not a wrong conclusion. You can do it, but
yes,
the
but
objection would be that it is in small numbers. You know, the numbers were very small. It's a retrospective study. You may say the kind of methodology used may not have been standardized. So those are two objections. But you have some more slides to talk about?
No, sir.
No.
Just that what is our view is that high ligation is preferred in both ileocecal resection and anterior resection because it has got a better lymph node harvest and staging.
This has been mentioned before, yeah.
Yes.
Srinivas has covered this already. So what are the two final questions that you would ask after you do this kind of a critique? After critical appraisal, what is it, of what importance is it to ask these two questions? You can stop sharing the screen unless, leave it on, somebody may want to go back, yeah. At the end of every journal club, when you have done the critiquing and you ask yourself two questions. We always said that. Hari, do you want to come in with that?
Can this be applied to our population?
Correct. First question is, can this kind of study be applied to our population?
If so, can we do this?
No, wait, let her, yeah.
Yes, sir, we can,
yeah.
But we can apply it to a larger population.
I don't think we need to worry. Of course, some other populations may be different, but it can be generally applied to our population also. Where is the rider? Where is the caveat in this? Where is the limitation?
Limitation is that
you may or may not be able to get the equipment for it. If you try to get the equipment, you can apply this to your population. And the second question, Hari?
Will you be doing the study? I mean, like, able to carry a
Would you change your practice
after this
based on the conclusions of this study?
Not at all.
Not at all. Why not?
Because the study was for a small population, and we do not, and this does not give any conclusion about the oncological outcomes.
Yes.
So we have not mentioned anything about the oncological outcomes here.
Correct.
And we do not.
Most important, you have left it to the last, but what is the most
robotic
important?
And lab.
No. Now, let me give you a comparison, okay? Just instead of giving you the answer directly. Now, if you have a liver tumor, it's a comparison. I'm talking about, and that is very important for critical appraisal of a paper. Okay, you find a new chemotherapeutic drug. You have a 10 centimeter liver tumor. You give this new chemotherapeutic drug for 3 months, and the tumor becomes 5 centimeters in diameter. It was 10 centimeters in diameter when you started. 3 months down the line, it was 5 centimeters. Would you use the drug?
No, sir, because it's new and we do not know the long-term outcomes.
No. There's a substantial reduction in the size, and it has been proven to be safe. The patients didn't die. What are the real issues there? That is the point I'm making. That's why I'm giving you a slightly different kind of perspective. What are the questions that you ask when you're doing
cost, economy of
Okay, cost is one, correct?
the patient's consents and ethics related to it.
No, you have missed the most important points. It is, did the patient live longer? What is the overall survival? What is the disease-free survival? Less important, but overall survival is important. So in both cases, the patient might be dead 6 months later. How does it matter when he's dead, whether he has a 10 centimeter tumor or a 5 centimeter tumor? So overall survival is important. And other equally important point that you have to ask, what is that? Quality of life for the time that he is surviving. Okay, QOL. And so the patient in the 6 months that he lived might have been in the hospital for 5 months because of this drug, apart from the cause that you mentioned. Whereas if we did nothing, he lived 6 months, he would have been happy going away, maybe having a holiday in Goa, something like that. Okay, so QOL and overall survival is very important in the data. Like that, in this paper, what is the most important question you want to know as a surgeon?
The oncological outcomes.
Okay, we mentioned that, that's one of them, but even more important, the leak rates.
Leak rates.
Just to be, hypoperfusion might have been there, but did it really give you significantly higher leak rates? No, even with the limitation of the data. And that brings me to my last point before I open it back to Srinivas for further discussion and closure. What was the limitation in the way they looked at the leak rates in this case?
They also considered pelvic abscess.
They looked at clinical leak rates only. What are the other kinds of leak rate, that you know of, and why is it more important?
Sir, they have also mentioned that computed tomography was used for it.
That was for the diagnosis of a clinically suspected leak. But in a study, if you're looking at leak rates, what would you do? You do what is called a radiological
leak rates.
Use a water-soluble dye at a given time after surgery, 5 days, 7 days maybe, get a CT scan and see if there's a leak. Why is it significant to know that?
That gives a complete
radiological leak rate is, many studies have shown that radiological leak rates are twice that of clinical leak rates. Okay, so in a study, not for clinical outcomes, in a study, it is important to think about radiological leak rate as well. That's another limitation of the study. Srinivas, over to you, please.
Yeah. See, the leak in anterior sections, low anterior sections, is more to do with technique rather than to do with the high or low ligation. It is to do more with the, yes, blood supply does play an important role, but there is more blood supply than what we think. I think adequate mobilization of the descending colon, splenic flexure, will reduce the tension. It is the tension and the technique we use, not stapled or hand sewn. What is going to leak will leak, irrespective of the technique we are using, irrespective of the method we are using. It's more of a technical thing, the leak, but it's come down a lot because of our understanding of the anatomy of that area. Much better anatomy, much better mobilization. We do side-to-end anastomosis, and we do double staple techniques. So these have brought down the leak rates. Okay. He has proven that there is hypoperfusion with his study retrospectively. Now, what is to be done is somebody should take up, I'm not saying in our country or amongst us, somebody should take up a retrospective study now. They should use this and do a prospective study whether actually there is a hypoperfusion. They should study that. We are going to invest in a machine, at least the laparoscopy, which can use the dye. So probably, I don't know about that equipment, how much it will be costing. So maybe another 4-5 years down the line, maybe we'll get it. So we have to do a prospective study and we have to prove it. So there are no other comments. The limitation, of course, it's a retrospective study. I had actually chosen a what do you call what type of study is that?
Meta-analysis, sir. Meta-analysis.
Yeah, meta-analytical study I had chosen of the same article, high ligation versus low. But then we thought that this would be a simpler one.
For a critique, for a journal club, meta-analysis and review articles are not the ideal articles. The reason is that
yes.
we are going through the process of learning to critique the methodology, and it has to be an original article. Of course, you can do a journal club on meta-analysis also, but that will be purely based on the method of meta-analysis used. And that really is of not much help to a postgraduate here. You should always have an original article, and it also helps you to design your own study. You know, it gives you a subject for your own study. Nuli sir, your comments?
No, sir. It was a good presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Kalaivani?
I wanted to ask Ramya one last thing. What is the level of evidence this retrospective study gives?
Level 2.
No, it's not level 2, it's level 3. Level 1 will be the meta-analysis.
Yes.
Okay. 2 will be the prospective studies. 3 is the retrospective studies.
Nishant, any comments?
No, sir, everything's already been covered.
I have a comment to make. I had something to add, which I remembered suddenly when I told about those studies. So our university has started its own journal, and we are going to be indexed shortly with Elsevier publications. I'm hoping that all of you send your articles, original articles. Right now, it is not indexed, unfortunately, but if you all send enough articles, your second best or third best article instead of your best one, probably with the kind of people who are there here, Lakshman sir or Nishant or Gurshantappa sir, probably the journal's impact factor will go up. So it's accepting. So I'll mail it in the HOD group and then they can distribute it to everyone.
Sure. Thank you.
So we are inviting reviewers also. So we'll reach out to you shortly, some of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Gurshantappa sir?
Yeah, it was nice, sir. Everything was covered, but only thing in the exclusion criteria is she said probably they may have atherosclerosis. If that would have been objective evidence in the study by means of having angiograms and finding out, yes, the distal blood vessels are patent in a group where high ligation was done, objectively that has been confirmed, it will add to the strength of the study, sir.
Yeah.
Because we are just imagining that all 80 plus age group will have atherosclerosis, so just exclude them. Rather than that, even a 40 aged person can have atherosclerosis and can have occlusion of the distal vessels. So if it have covered by confirming by angiogram that yes, even in high ligation of a lower age group, the distal vessel are blocked, and that is a cause for hypoperfusion than high ligation itself. That will add strength to the study.
Yeah. Right, so Ramya, I think you did a very good job. Congratulations. Srinivas, very good mentoring, I think, and congratulations to you too. Chandru, over to you for your final comments, please.
Sir, our chairman has logged in. I request our
appreciate it.
chairman to talk, sir.
Sorry, I didn't notice it. Arvind, good evening.
Arvind.
Please.
Good evening. Good evening. I
You
joined
can give
late.
the final comments, please. Yeah.
No, I only thank our Dr. Srinivas Pai for wonderful Journal Club and the presenter Dr. Ramya also. As usual, Lakshman, he carries on with the bat like Sunny Gavaskar.
Oh, dear.
So unbeaten record. I'm very, very happy that our scientific program is going on regularly. So I thank everyone for the attendance. Thank you.
Right.
Over to you, Chandru.
Sir, I request all the PGs to register if they have not registered it, and also submit their abstract as early as possible, because the 10th is the last date for submission. So make utilize of this conference. Is very easy now, online conference. So you need not to travel, and don't worry about those who have paid 5,000 or 5,800 in the last the registration. So we have already crossed 168 members in this. Apart from early bird registers, they have registered in Bangalore. So I hope all of you will communicate this to your colleagues, co-PGs, to register as early as possible. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lakshman sir. Thank you, Arvind sir, Gurshantappa sir, and our Srinivas Pai, moderator of today's Journal Club, and also presenter Dr. Ramya for doing work in a short period. And thank all the presenters who are presented in this Journal Club. Good night, sir.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.